Y&R Spoilers reveal that Victor Newman has never been one to give in easily, especially when his power and pride are threatened. When rumors of Dumas, a mysterious name in the international tycoon world, aiming to take over the Chancellor Group began to spread, Victor immediately sensed the potential danger behind the temporary peace of his family. Chancellor, to him, was not only a prestigious gift for his respected wife but also a symbol of Newman's success, power, and profound influence in the upper class of Genoa City. Therefore, the thought that someone was trying to steal this legacy from his hands made Victor unable to stand idly by. The way Victor snatched Chancellor from Billy Abbott's hands is still a topic of endless discussion in the meeting rooms, hallways, and even high-class parties. True to the cold, decisive style of the Moustache, Victor did not care about the consequences of his actions. He understood better than anyone that in the business world, concessions are often seen as a sign of weakness. Therefore, pushing Billy out of his position of power at Chancellor, for Victor, was both a move to assert his strength and a warning to anyone who dared to challenge him, even the most senior and powerful figures in Genoa City. But for Billy, this feeling of defeat was not easy to accept. Billy was someone who never bowed to power, especially when facing Victor, who always sought to turn every opponent into a pawn on his chessboard. The feeling of being removed from Chancellor not only made Billy angry, but also ignited in him a desire for revenge. However, while Billy was still struggling with his heartache, another danger began to appear, a silent, clever, and hidden danger called Dumas. Realizing Victor's determination, Dumas did not rush to reveal himself, but instead chose to approach with careful diplomatic tricks, through key figures such as Lily Winters. Dumas understood that in order to subdue the Chancellor, he had to grasp the weaknesses in his opponent's internal structure. While Victor was busy consolidating his power, Dumas chose an indirect approach, silently sending hidden signals to those involved, from lawyers to longtime business partners. Lily Winters, as the head of Winters, inadvertently became a bridge for Dumas' ambitious plans. When she learned about the gossip about Dumas, Lily felt worried about the stability of Winters as well as the safety of her family members, especially Devon and Nate Hastings, whom she always wanted to protect from outside turmoil. However, Lily was not someone who was easily caught up in intrigues beyond her control. She took the initiative to seek out Amanda Sinclair, a smart, sharp lawyer who had also had close ties to Dumas, to inquire about the billionaire's true intentions. Amanda, who had had secret phone conversations with Dumas, was also not entirely sure about her boss's ultimate goal. On the surface, Dumas always showed himself to be a good-willed person, wanting to protect Winters, admiring the talent and courage of Lily, Devon, and Nate. However, those conversations contained many unpredictable hidden meanings, as if each word was a mask hiding some deep conspiracy. Meanwhile, Victor had no intention of stopping. Realizing that Billy was still a potential threat, he directed Newman Media to focus all resources on finding Billy's weaknesses and eliminating him as thoroughly as possible. Every move, every meeting, every report about Billy was sent to Victor for careful consideration. Victor knows that as long as Billy has pride, he will never settle down, and once Billy becomes a real threat to the Chancellor, he must take stronger measures to remove him from the game forever. Not stopping there, Victor also wants to create confusion and pressure on Billy, hoping that he will back down and voluntarily withdraw from this power game. Victor understands the psychology of his opponents. He knows how to stimulate insecurity, exploit emotions, and turn them into sharp weapons. He also does not hesitate to use the media power of Newman Media to amplify Billy's mistakes and weaknesses to the public, causing Billy's reputation to be damaged and his business relationships to be shaken day by day. At the same time, the relationship between Amanda and Dumas becomes more complicated. Amanda is torn between loyalty to her friends and Dumas's seductive promises. The lengthy phone conversations, the assurances of Winter's protection, all left Amanda both convinced and skeptical. She wondered if Dumas truly wanted to protect Lily and her family, or if he was just using Amanda as a strategic pawn to gradually infiltrate Winters and the Chancellor. Lily, though feeling pressured, still maintained the necessary clarity. In her conversation with Amanda on May 27, Lily frankly expressed her concerns about Dumas, about the danger he could pose to Winters, to the Chancellor, and to the complex network of alliances in Genoa City. Lily needed clear confirmation from Amanda, but Amanda could only give vague explanations, as she herself was caught between loyalty and lies. Behind the scenes, Dumas was still quietly coordinating everything. He sought to build trust with Lily, Devon, and Nate, even proactively sending subtle messages, praising their leadership, will to rise, and loyalty to the Winters family. Every word, every action was meticulously calculated to make the other party lower their guard, opening the door to cooperation without knowing that they themselves were becoming the target of a much larger game. While everyone was still immersed in suspicion and calculation, Victor made the first move. Negative information about Billy was spread everywhere. Newman media became the fire that fanned all the rumors, making Billy more and more isolated. Meanwhile, Victor calmly observed, waiting for the right moment to launch the decisive blow, ensuring that the Chancellor and his wife's honor would never fall into the hands of any enemy, be it Billy Abbott or Dumas. However, what Victor did not expect was the bravery and resilience of those he had once despised. Billy, instead of falling, quietly gathered allies, seeking support from those who had been hurt by Victor. Lily, although hesitant, was not easy to manipulate. She was determined to protect Winters at all costs. Amanda, increasingly realizing the potential dangers in her relationship with Dumas, began to reconsider her role in this power struggle. Each character is faced with a life-or-death choice. Either succumb to Victor's power, or rise up and fight back to regain control of their own destiny. Genoa City has once again become an underground battlefield, where old alliances are broken, new secrets are revealed, and all plans can be turned upside down with just one fateful move. In the coming days, the fates of Chancellor, Winters, and Newman will continue to be tested by overlapping intrigues, tested loyalties, and the ambitions of those who never know when to stop. Will Victor hold on to his achievements, or will he eventually pay the price for underestimating his opponents? Will Dumas reveal his true colors, or will he continue to be a haunting shadow in the behind-the-scenes plots? All remains unknown. Only time will tell who will be the true victor in the underground power struggle in Genoa City. There has never been a shortage of power struggles, but this time, the situation is becoming more tense than ever when Victor Newman and his son Adam Newman decided to launch a comprehensive counterattack against Billy Abbott. It is not only a personal confrontation that has lasted for many years, but also a show of force between two media empires, Newman Media and Abbott Communications, with calculations, plots and hidden dangers that no one can predict the ending. Billy, who has tasted defeat many times under Victor's hands, seemed to have anticipated every response, but the appearance of a new ally, Aristotle Dumas, put all old calculations at risk of collapse. Newman Media was considered an impregnable fortress thanks to Victor's iron fist and Adam's cold, skillful mind. They clearly understood their opponent's weaknesses, especially Billy's impulsiveness, emotion, and sometimes disregard for consequences. This time, Victor fought back not only for personal attacks but also for Newman's honor, for the family's symbolic significance in the media and finance world, and for the potential danger that Billy had unexpectedly drawn Aristotle Dumas into the game. Dumas, an ambitious upstart known for his cold and precise acquisitions, was quietly pouring resources and information into Billy, intent on shaking Newman Media from the ground up. The war was no longer limited to the newspapers or the boardroom. It spread to every aspect of Genoa City's business life. Partnerships were tested, rumors were exaggerated, confidential documents leaked, investors began to waver. While Victor and Adam consolidated their internal alliances, using every means to undermine confidence in Abbott Communications, Billy fought back relentlessly. The media campaign was pushed to a climax. Each news article, each tweet became a sharp weapon, aimed directly at the opponent's reputation and management flaws. But Billy's fatigue was becoming more and more obvious. He believed in the youth, the determination and the support of Dumas, but he could not deny the cracks within the Abbott team. During the long, tense nights, Billy wondered if he had gone too far, especially when the warnings of his old allies echoed in his ears. Cooperating with Dumas was not just a handshake for benefits, but also a risky gamble between two conflicting forces. One side was the Abbott family legacy, the other side was the cold calculations of a billionaire without roots in Genoa City. On Newman's side, Victor continued to demonstrate his unbending man qualities. He not only had to deal with Billy but also had to calculate every move of Dumas, a man who was not easily subdued or bribed. Victor and Adam held emergency meetings, planned to block any information gaps, and even used close sources to probe Abbott communications' every move. For Victor, failure was not an option. The more pressured, the more dangerous he became, willing to use even the dirtiest tricks to protect what belonged to Newman. In the midst of that vortex, Lauren Fenmore had to face a very personal battle, the battle within her family. Lauren loved Michael Baldwin not only for his intelligence and integrity but also for his steadfastness in the face of all challenges. But that also made her worried when Michael was increasingly drawn into Victor Newman's power struggles. Michael had just decided to quit his job at Victor's company, declaring that he would prioritize family life and Lauren's happiness after years of her being worried and stressed because of the dangerous missions he undertook. Lauren looked at her husband, wondering if Michael had truly broken away from the past, broken up with Victor, who was both his former boss and a force that always knew how to attract and manipulate his loyalty. The years working side by side with Victor had left a deep mark on Michael's career, helping him build his reputation but at the same time causing Lauren to live in anxiety many times when Michael was dragged into dangerous areas many times. This time, Michael had followed Lauren's wishes, choosing her over the prestigious law job, choosing small happiness with her over endless power games. However, Lauren still could not sleep peacefully. Because she understood that such battles in Genoa City never stopped. Victor always knew how to create whirlwinds that swept everything away, and Michael had never been one to stay out of the game for too long. Memories of the times Michael returned to cooperate with Victor, the times he temporarily took a break and then suddenly rushed into the eye of the storm, made Lauren unable to extinguish her feeling of insecurity. During the conversations, she couldn't hide her anxiety, asking Michael if he was really determined with his new decision, if he could resist Victor's power pull if he came looking for him again, if what had just happened would happen again. Michael also struggles with himself. He loves Lauren, wants to protect his small family, but at the same time understands himself a man who once longed to be recognized, to use his abilities in the places where the biggest decisions are made. Leaving his law career with Victor means he has to start over, facing an ego that was once very proud of its own sharpness and strength. But this time, Lauren's determination, patience, and her trust in Michael make him more troubled than ever. He realizes that choosing happiness is not simply giving up everything, but also learning to balance personal passion and family love. Meanwhile, the media storm between Newman Media and Abbott Communications escalates. Each side tries to attract allies, collect evidence, release sensational news, and shake the confidence of investors and public opinion. Victor did not hesitate to use every trick to destroy Billy's image, even exploiting the sensitive relationships between Billy and Dumas to sow doubts and disrupt Abbott's internal affairs. Adam also proved himself to be a worthy successor, working closely with his father to protect the Newman legacy from all dangers. Billy, despite being forced into a difficult situation, still refused to surrender. He persistently cooperated with Dumas, using all resources to maintain Abbott Communications, affirming the independence and vitality of the Abbott brand in the new era. Those tense days made Billy pause, pondering his true motivation, the value of family honor compared to personal pride. As the media war showed no signs of cooling down, the family relationships of the characters were also challenged. Lauren continued to encourage Michael to believe in his choice, reminding him of the value of peace, of the true meaning of love after many years of turmoil. Michael, amidst the turmoil outside, finds peace in Lauren's arms, promising himself to prioritize that small happiness, despite the constant whirlpools of power outside. Genoa City continues to move, with the endless confrontations between Newman and Abbott, with people always struggling between love, career, and honor. There, every decision can change the fate of an entire family, and every battle, whether in the business world or in the heart, leaves wounds that are not easy to heal. Who will win in this fierce power struggle? Will Lauren and Michael's simple happiness be strong enough to withstand the storm, or will Michael once again be drawn back into the familiar dangerous game? Time will tell. For now, Genoa City enters a new chapter, full of turmoil and surprises, where no one can predict what lies ahead.